I think it's pretty much been said. Good morning. For those of you that don't know, I'm Stacey Ruth. That is my first name and my last name, not that southern double name. There's been some confusion. I serve here, as a couple of other people have already said, proudly as a spiritual practitioner. I also serve currently on the SLCA board, and because it was mine to do, I am temporarily serving in the office administration area here at SLCA. So if you can't tell by all of that, I love this center. And I really love all of you. I know it. Feels good. We love you too. And I love what we have created here. I also love what we are creating together right now. That was amazing. I feel like the dessert. I'm not even the entree. All of us together, each and every day, we are creating infinite possibility right here. All things are possible right here. So, speaking of possibility, imagine it's your wedding day. It could happen. You've spent weeks and months planning the perfect expression of your love for one another. The invitations, the flowers, the music, the food, the photographer, the honeymoon. You are 100% confident this is the relationship. This is the relationship where you are going to grow together. You're going to grow old together. And you're standing there in front of all the people that you love the most. The music stops. The officiant steps forward. She opens the book to the vows that you lovingly wrote for one another. She leans forward and says, just loudly enough for the entire room to hear, don't screw this up. That was my wedding day. We love her. Not very science of mind. Yeah, well, I have to tell you that was really the G-rated version of what she said. We love her. Did I say that? I'm pretty sure she was talking to him way more than she was talking to me. But see, here's the thing. He and I had a history of screwing it up. It's my third marriage. It's his second. And we're in good company. At the time that we got married, 50% of first marriages, 68% of second marriages, and a whopping 73% of third marriages end in divorce. I will put in a sidebar here. That statistic is changing. It's actually improving. That's the good news. But I'm happy to say we and he's here today. We have been married more than 10 years, and by my belief, we are going strong. Well, thank you. I'll take that. And and I would say we're unstoppable. But he and I had done a tremendous amount of soul work before we entered into this marriage. See, we come from a spiritual practice where we believe that if I'm not part of the problem, there is no solution. But see, we're in New Thought, and we know the solution already exists. So where does it exist? With me. So what we have done is we've put 3 things into place. We have a regular practice of 1, checking our perspective on a almost daily basis. We both have spiritual mentors, and we check in with them because they can provide for us the perspective, the distance, when we're too close to what's going on. 2, we also check our thinking on a regular basis. We talk about being positive and affirmative in here, but it's very easy to slide into negativity. And then 3rd, we check in with one another on our desires and our fears. And we support one another in realizing our desires and claiming them, and in loving one another through our fears. So, as of right now, we haven't screwed it up. Seems to be working. But screwing it up, ooh, that's what we're taught to be afraid of. And okay, our officiant said it out loud, but most of us just have it in our head, and it may be louder than her. So loud, in fact, we won't even try. But you heard the reading that Deetra gave us this morning, that life's not safe. And that's okay. It's life. We're going to make mistakes. Now, I know in here we like to say, well, we just missed the mark. But you're going to make mistakes. They're going to come up for us. We're going to disappoint someone. We're going to misunderstand someone. We're going to perhaps not live up to a commitment that we meant to honor. I did that this week, and I had to make an amends for that. We don't like to do that, but we have to sometimes. Sometimes those mistakes are going to be major. Sometimes they might even be unrecoverable. But here's the thing. They're going to happen. Making mistakes and the fear of making mistakes does not have to stop us. It is so incredibly empowering when we believe that we're unstoppable. Except too many of us don't believe it. Instead, we live in this land of what if. What if I disappoint them? What if she's right and I screw up? What if I'm not enough, or there's not enough of me to go around? What if I can't make any money at this? What if, what if, what if, what if? Every single one of us is going to have to go into that cave within ourselves where we have a fear of unworthiness, where we have a fear of scarcity, and we get to face that fear and see it. You're not going to hide from it. See it. I look here at all of you, and I see something incredible. I see amazing, unstoppable expressions of the divine. I see amazing, unstoppable leaders in your lives. Can you see it? Okay. Then I want you to turn to someone on your left or your right, and I want you to look at them, and I want you to say to them out loud, "You are unstoppable." And the crowd goes wild. Well, you're applauding for yourselves. Yes, you deserve it. Right. And it feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. It feels good if you can believe it and receive it, if you can see it. We are all unstoppable. We're all unstoppable leaders in our lives. How do I know? How can I see that? Because it's how we're born. If you are a parent, if you're a spouse, if you own a home, if you own a pet, if you're on a team, it doesn't matter. If you're in a relationship with anyone or anything, you're a leader in that relationship. The question isn't whether you're leading. The question is, how are you leading? And it can seem sometimes like there's something that's stopping us from leading the way we want to lead. It could be a child that will not behave. It might be a spouse who's too busy and distracted to pay attention. It might be a critical boss. It might be a cultural bias. But we know New Thought. We know science of mind. It's not them standing between us and leading. If they would only get out of the way, I could lead. No. We know better. We know that the only thing that needs to change in order for us to lead is our perspective. Change your thinking, change your life. Right? We know this. So, leading, being unstoppable, that is simply a state of mind, and, here's the trick, a set of actions that aligns with that state of mind. No one can stand between you and that except you. I'm just here to remind us of what we already know. Being unstoppable, we are unstoppable because all things are possible. It's as simple as that. So, if we are choosing to be that, then we are in a place where we have really changed our minds. Yeah. But see, it sounds like a great theory. It sounds really good in here. But I don't care how spiritually evolved you are. When we walk out of those doors today, what are we going to walk into? Life. Problems. You know. They might be big problems. We might be having a health crisis, a financial crisis. They might be small problems. I'm not sure I have enough coffee in the house. But there's going to be problems. That's my problem. And like everyone, we want solution. We want an answer. And where is the answer? With us. So. But the thing that gets in our way is negative thinking. And last week, Reverend Avon shared with us about the scientist, the Japanese scientist, Masaru Emoto. I practiced long and hard to be able to say that. Masaru Emoto. And how he found out that human consciousness can actually alter the molecular structure of water. All right? For those of you that, this is the review part of the talk. And also that a majority of our body, different parts of our body, different amounts, but the majority of our body is water. Now, I'm going to take it one step further. Out there in the world, I know we're far more evolved, we're in here, but out there in the world, we all have roughly 60,000 thoughts a day. And now, it gets better. I heard some wows. It gets better. Out of those 60,000 thoughts that we have a day, 98% of them are repetitive. So we're in new thought. You got 2%. 2% new thoughts. And out of that 98%, here comes the kicker, 80% are negative. What we also know, different research, different study, it takes 3 positive thoughts to overcome 1 negative thought. Check your thinking daily, right? We don't have to be a statistic, but those are the statistics. So what I would like to do right now is I would like to ask if one of you would be unstoppable and willing to come up here with me so that we can demonstrate right here, right now, how to change your thinking and be unstoppable. Come on up. Somebody's ready to be unstoppable. All right, come on up. And we're going to set your pen down because you're going to need both of your hands. Penelope, I'm not touching a darn thing here. Okay. All right. Now, if you will just come up here, tell me your name. Ebony. Beautiful name. All right. So, Ebony, I'm going to stand behind you, and you're going to relax. Trust me. I didn't hear a yes on that. All right. She does. Okay, we're good. Whew, okay. Now, put your arms out to your side at shoulder height. Okay? And I'm going to apply light pressure, and you're going to just maintain where your arms are. All right? So that's not bad, right? Feels good? Okay. Feel a little pressure. Great. Now, I'm going to give Ebony one of the words that Professor Emoto gave to the water. The word that I'm going to give you, Ebony, is love. No problem? Okay. Now I'm going to give Ebony another word that Professor Emoto used on the water. Ebony, I'm going to give you the word hate. Yeah, a little harder, isn't it? Okay. And Ebony, I can't leave you like that. If you would join me, okay, 3 times, we're going to give her back love. 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 You go. Thank you. Thank you. And I will give you back your pen, too. You're going to need it later. Okay. We are that powerful. We are that powerful to be able to create change in our own bodies and our own experience. What I know is that every one of us is capable of far more than any one of us can imagine right now. We are powerful manifestors. The question is, what are we manifesting? Are we manifesting love? Or are we manifesting fear? What's it going to be? So today, what I'm really doing is I'm suggesting that perhaps we can manifest that greater unstoppability in our lives wherever we're feeling called. Because when we can do that, when we can manifest love and not fear, that's when we're blazing new trails. That's when we're shining the light for others. That's when we are trusting the fire within ourselves. I am one of a little over 2 million people, I think most of them are in this room, who has walked on fire. A lot of you have been to Edwin Gaines. I did this with a number of you, watched me do it, at the practitioner retreat last fall for all of the CSLs, I think on the East Coast, which was held at CSL in Asheville, John Waterhouse's center, and he was our facilitator. And I got the flyer, email, of course. I got the flyer, and I saw that we were doing a fire walk, and I'd never done a fire walk before. But see, I'm a believer that life is risk, and I like to take risk. I like to shake it up a little bit. So I signed up mentally, emotionally, I was all in. And then I started thinking about it. I don't know how many of you know what I knew at the time, but all I knew at the time was that it appeared to be some sort of mind over matter thing, and we're in new thought, and so we want to, change our mind, change our experience, and I was a new practitioner. I wasn't sure that I had what it took to alter the molecular structure of fire. I'm just being honest. So I did what anyone in my position would do. I Googled it. I was absolutely convinced that there was a science behind successful firewalking. And there is. I learned a lot, and I'll share it with you. One thing you absolutely positively want to do is do it with a trained firewalk facilitator. Because they know how to make a level bed of embers and coals. On the bottom, there's a layer of embers. Embers conduct heat. If you touch the embers, my dear, you will get burned. On top of the embers, there's coals. What I didn't know, but was very happy to know, is coals don't conduct heat. Great. Okay, I got this. Just stay on top of the coals. Don't touch the embers. I won't get burned. Oh, but wait. How do I do that? right? Well, how you do that is, first of all, you don't want to walk too slow. Because if you walk too slow, your weight will sink down through the coals into the embers and you'll get burned. Got it. No problem. Don't walk too slow. You also, however, don't want to run or go too fast. Because if you do that, then you're going to put the weight on the balls of your feet, embers up between the toes. You're going to get burned. Good to know. I've got this. Don't go too fast. Don't go too slow. Let's do this. So I show up in Asheville, ready to apply my scientific theory. And I find out there's all of these wonderful, mystical rituals around firewalks. It's part of the allure. We come together. We build the fire. We bless the fire. We write down on a piece of paper what it is that we want to call into our life. The thing we want more than anything. And that's what they hold at the other end of the fire. Come and get it. And then we write down on a piece of paper what it is that's stopping us. And when we go down to the fire, we put it in the fire. Did I mention there's fire? Put it in the fire and we burn it. Beautiful ritual. Then there's the more modern ritual, the absolutely prerequisite legal waiver. And the PowerPoint presentation that tells you about all the people that walked too fast and walked too slow and how they wound up in the emergency room. When they've got that ritual out of the way, that's when 80 of us get to go down to the fire. Feeling stoked. Like a fire. So we did go down to the fire, and it was beautiful, and it was level. And we sang to one another. And when the moment was right, about 30 of us, not that I was counting, about 30 of us, when we felt our time was right, walked up to the fire. Now, when you're standing on the edge of a fire pit, the heat is incredible. It's a fire. 9 feet of coals and embers are in front of you. Roughly 80 people are staring at you. The facilitator is standing at the other end of the fire walk, saying, I've got it. Come and get it. I'll catch you when you get here. You can feel the emotion. You can feel the desire. You can feel the fear. And all that Google science, countless people have done this before. There's a science. You can do this. Yeah, no, out the window. When you're standing in front of a fire, about to walk across it, you got one question to ask yourself. Is this mine to do? And for me, that day, the answer was yes. I think I probably would say yes again. What I know now, however, is that walking that fire is just like when we walk out this door. Whatever those problems, whatever those challenges, I helped build it. I helped bless it. And I get to choose whether I'm going to walk across it or not. So, what is yours to do? If we could bring the lights up, I think most of you have in your seat a card and a positive affirmation button if you choose it. If you don't, it's because we put them towards the center, and you may want to see if you can locate one. And you have a pen. I'm going to invite you to write down on the side of the paper, there's two sides, that says what I want, what it is that's calling you, what it is that's tugging on the edge of your awareness. That's the place where you find your meaning. A lot of people like to think that it's your work. It might be. It might not be. It might be one thing. It might be more than one thing. Now, in our culture today, we don't talk about what our purpose is very much. And so some of you may not have come in here going, I know what my purpose is, I'm going to write it down. That's okay. Make space for it to come up. Make space for it. And when it's ready, it will come up. But that's the thing you get to ask yourself, this is the thing I want more than anything in this world. What's stopping me? And we can look at our circumstances and we can say, I don't have enough money. My family comes first. I don't have a degree. I don't have the skills. I don't have the tools. I can't. Those are our circumstances. This is the thing that you say you want more than anything in this world. What's stopping you? It's your fear. It's the heat, right? So, when you have a sense of what that thing is that you want more than anything, instead of letting your fear come forward and say, that's foolish, it's just a daydream, they won't let me. Look at the fear. The fear is, I'm not enough. There's not enough. That's the other side of the card. Now, here's the trick about fear. Fear makes us uncomfortable. We don't like it. We want to not look at it. We tell ourselves, oh, well, if I write it down, then I'm making it concrete and it's not going to go anywhere. I'm here to tell you that your fear wants something from you. Your fear wants your love. We've heard it said, perfect love drives out fear. How is that? Your fear wants you to say, I love you. Your fear is the place where you're wounded. The fear is the place where you are learning, where you are growing. Your fear is talking to you. And it's noisy. Your fear wants you to say to it, baby, we got this. When you can love your fear, when you can see your fear, you can let go of your fear. And you can do what is yours to do. Where are you frustrated? Where are you exhausted? Where are you just not quite sure if it's worth it? That's where you're stuck. And being stuck is not about, I can't. Being stuck is about, I'm not willing to lean into that risk and try something new. Being stuck is like having one foot on the accelerator and the other foot on the brake. Has anyone here tried that? I did. When you got one foot on the brake and one foot on the accelerator, you are not going anywhere. and both feet are yours. Take your foot off the brake. It's a choice. When you do that, you open up to that world where all things are possible. When you do that, you are your answer that you're seeking. When you do that, you are unstoppable. Thank you.